Welcome to By the Numbers. My name's Michelle Fleming. I'm a math consultant, a math teacher, but more importantly, I'm a mother and a grandmother. By the Numbers is a video resource to help you help your child in the area of math. So many adults and so many children don't feel like we're good at math. And I'm here to tell you you're wrong. Not only can you be good at math, you can be great at math. And your child can also be great at math. The program is designed into very small chunks to build you and your child's confidence in math. It is also to connect it to their real-world setting and to let you in on a few math secrets that math teachers know, which will help your child be successful in math. Not only to be successful, but to love math and to understand math. This is part 3 of a 5-part series on rote counting. Now, rote counting may sound like a very basic skill, but it is a foundational skill for so many other math concepts, like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And today, because we're talking about counting by fives today, we're going to be using money, which is a real-world skill that we all need help with, especially our young children. So, we'll start out by talking about a little bit about what the skill is. Then we'll go into an activities that you can use with your children or child at home. And then we'll kind of wrap it up and share with you where you can find these resources so you can do this at home with your child. So let's start by talking about what is rote counting. Rote counting is just being able to say a set of numbers in order, both frontwards and backwards. So in episode 1, we talked about counting by 1s and 2s. And in episode 2, we counted by 3s and 4s. Today, we're going to count by 5s. So we're going to start by working with a tool. Actually, we'll talk about 3 different tools. The first tool we're going to look at is the hundreds chart. The hundreds chart is used in school, and it's set up in a way so we can see patterns. So it's basically a long number line that basically gets broken into a 10 by 10 array. But it's a great tool because we can start seeing patterns and helping kids see patterns as they count by 2s, 4s, 5s, 10s, and so on. So we're going to start with the hundreds chart, and we're going to talk about our hands. Because luckily our hands, most of our hands, all have 5 fingers, so the hand is a great tool for counting by 5s. So if I have one hand, we know that there are a total of 5 fingers. When we add a second hand now, we know there are 10 fingers. So we would ask your child to fill in the hundreds chart to say how many are on 2 hands, which is 10. We can continue that pattern. 3 hands would have 15 fingers. 4 hands would have 20 fingers. 5 hands would have 25. Okay? What's important about this is then we can start having conversation about what patterns are we seeing. When we count by 5s, the last digit always ends in a 5 or a 0. It's always going down the same column. So we really want to emphasize those patterns that we see in the hundreds chart. So that's one tool we use in classrooms, or teachers often use in classrooms. The second tool is called a T-chart. A T-chart is set up, sometimes it's called a function table, sometimes it's called an input-output table. But if we put the number of hands here, number of fingers here, we can say one hand has 5 fingers, 2 hands has 10 fingers, 3 hands, 15 fingers. Now this looks like we're just doing a pattern, but we could get to a point where we say, how many hands then would there be on 20, or how many fingers on 20 hands? So it really gets us to start looking at our multiplication facts and seeing this as a times 5 rule or pattern here. So 20 times 5 would get us to 100. So that's just another tool or a way that we can record our counts. The third way is to look at the number line. And for students to start seeing that, oh my goodness, as I jump across this number line, I'm leaving 4 numbers in between. And again, it's just to see the different patterns. So 3 tools that we can use. the hundreds chart, a T table, and the number line. Okay? So that's one way. But I mentioned earlier we were going to talk about money. So let's talk about the money. Nickels are great ways for us in a real world setting to have our kids count by fives. So just put a few nickels out and talk about how much a nickel is worth. Make sure that your student sees both the front and the back of a nickel. So many times we only see pictures of a front of a nickel. So let's just count by fives, and they can just go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and you can just keep adding your amounts. Now, if your student can't, or your child can't count by fives yet, which is the ultimate goal, to be able to go 5, 10, 15, 20, forwards and backwards, if they can't do that, a way you can scaffold back is by using these pictures that can be found on our website as a PDF that can be downloaded, but to use pictures. So if they can't go 5, 10, they can actually go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay? It's working on a different skill called one-to-one correspondence, but if they don't know they're counting by fives to start with, this is just a way you can scaffold back and help your student count by fives, and they actually have dots on these nickels so that they can actually count them if they don't know it. But remember, the goal of rote counting is to be able to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and to be able to go backwards.